lot of people like to blame this generation and say this generation is the source of all the corruption. However, I beg to differ. In every generation, there's been kids that have been screw-ups and whatnot, and I think the corruption is pretty much the same, but in different ways. The only thing that's changing is that these kids are being corrupted younger and younger every single year. Come on, we got 9 and 8 year olds twerking on YouTube and Facebook because their big sisters are saying it's okay or their moms are saying it's okay. I remember when I was in middle school, people used to tell me how their mom used to let them smoke weed and even smoke weed with them, do drugs with them, or they would drink with them, go to parties with them. Me being Dominican and Puerto Rican, I've noticed a lot that Dominicans do this a lot. They go and they take their kids to parties and they make it seem like it's okay for these little kids to be drinking at such a young age when their livers are undeveloped and their body is undeveloped and they're just fucking up their growth. You know, that's a whole nother issue about the Dominican community. We'll talk about that in another video. Yes, as teenagers, once you're a certain age, you should be held responsible for your actions. But for right now, I'm going to talk about what the parents should do to make sure that their kids are doing the right thing in society. Of course, as I always say, I'm 16 years old. What the fuck do I know? But this is just my common sense. Just because I'm 16, it doesn't mean I can't have my opinion on something. Yes, I think it's very important that a parent gives their kid some amount of freedom. My mom always taught me around the middle of the spectrum where, you know, she gives me a little freedom. I get to hang out with my friends. I am exposed to a lot of stuff sometimes, but she's very hard on me, you know? She's hard on me with advice. She tells me, don't do this, don't do that, because, you know, all the good stuff. That's what a lecture is. When you tell someone, hey, don't go and drink and drink and drink because your grandfather winded up being an alcoholic, and in our family we have a problem with alcoholism where these people get nowhere in life and they wind up becoming slaves to alcohol. A parent telling them, hey, don't do this because I told you so. That isn't enough. As teenagers, we're always questioning, so we have that why in our heads. So if you shield a kid in a room and you just trap him in that room and you never let him hang out with friends and you just shield him from reality and never show him any kind of freedom to experience things firsthand, then he's never going to truly learn. Once he's an adult in the real world, he's going to go crazy with the amount of freedom that he has, and he's just going to become a fuck up anyway. A lot of the times, not all of the times. So that's one of the far sides of the spectrum, just being too strict on your kid, not giving them any kind of freedom. Because I'm going to give you an analogy right now, showing you that human curiosity is the absolute downfall of obedience. If there's a fire on the stove, and the parent tells the kid, listen, you can't touch that fire because I said so, and she holds him back all of his life, and she just grips him there, never lets him touch that stove. Once he's an adult, she can't tell him what to do anymore, and out of curiosity he'll go and touch that stove and be burned as an adult. That's just delaying the life lesson that he was supposed to go through already. It'll take longer for him to grow in wisdom. Now in the middle of the spectrum we have mothers like my mother. She'll tell me why. She'll say, Jeffrey, don't touch that fire because you're going to get burned, and it's going to be very bad for you, and it's not going to feel good. Jeffrey, you can either heed my warning or not, because I can't see what you're doing behind my back. So just remember my lessons, and if you touch that fire, remember, I told you so. So, me being the person that I am, I personally wouldn't touch the fire because I respect my mother's warnings, and I know she's one of the wisest women I've ever met. However, if I am too curious and I go touch that fire, I'll burn myself at a young age, and I'll take that life lesson. I'll say, I should have listened to mom. Now I'll start to willingly obey my mother because I learned that what my mother says most of the time is for the best. Now instead of me being delayed on that life lesson to not touch the fire, I've already learned this, and when I'm an adult, it won't delay my growth and wisdom. Now on the other far side of the spectrum, we have the parents that take the kid's hand and place it on the fire like fucking morons, knowing damn well that it is not good for them. If you don't get the symbolic analogy here, that far side of the spectrum with the parents putting their child's hand on the fire symbolizes the parents that are just the source of negativity, the parents that give their children weed, the parents that drink with their kids, the big sisters and big brothers that teach their kids to sell drugs on the street to make fast money, the big sisters that got their little sisters twerking just like them for Facebook and YouTube. The difference between the spectrum in the middle and the spectrum on the far left is that you're telling your child that it's okay to sit down and drink that alcoholic coquito on Christmas when they're fucking 12 and 13 years old. Nowadays we have parents even encouraging their children to fight. You better beat that bitch's ass! And you know, big brothers and big sisters or any kind of siblings in the household are often like a parent figure in the household. You know, whenever mom and dad is gone, there's always a big sister or the big brother taking care of the kid. These people have an influence on their little brothers and sisters too. That concludes this video. I'm probably gonna have a part 2 talking about parents that just don't act like parents at all. The kind of parents that put themselves at the same social level as their kids 24/7. That next video is gonna be called Can Children Hit Their Parents Back? The whole entire month of December is gonna be based off of the theme of growing up and how other things in life affect the way children grow up. So I'm gonna have one about media. I'm gonna have one specifically for video games. I already sort of made one called Be a Leader that's sort of about how we ourselves can make a difference in our own generation, in our own society, and how it's our fault and how we have to take a stand to be prominent amongst everybody else. And you can check out that video right here. Of course, that's not gonna be the whole thing. I'm gonna have some funny ass shit coming out this month of December, and it's gonna be a lot. You're gonna start to see a lot of variety on this channel as I start developing this channel more and more. I'm gonna be coming out with a whole hood action series kind of thing. It's probably gonna be like 5 or 6 episodes. If this is the first video you've seen of me and any of these things appeal to you, I suggest that you subscribe to my channel because I have a ton of variety here. You're gonna start to see a lot of things, and I'm definitely not gonna disappoint you, I promise. Usually on all of my videos for the haters, I usually elaborate on the amount of non-existent fucks that I give. However, I'm feeling kind of sick. I feel like throwing up today and my throat hurts a little bit. So, you know, ain't nobody got time for that.